Couldn't testify. You'll see why. All them lawyers and the judge and jury don't even know about me. Curtis didn't want 'em to know, so he never told 'em." She crossed her legs and swung her right calf jauntily. She was smiling as if trying to flirt him into wanting to know more about the job so he could free Curtis Colt by a governor's reprieve at the last minute, as in an old movie. Nudger looked at her gauntly, pretty country girl face and said, "Tell me about Curtis Colt, Holly Ann."
"You mean you didn't read about him in the newspapers or see him on the television?"
"I only scan the media for misinformation. Give me the details."
"Well, they say Curtis was inside the liquor store sticking it up. Him and his partner had done 3 other places that night, all of 'em gas stations, though, when the old man that owned the place come out of a back room and seen his wife there behind the counter with her hands up and Curtis holding the gun on her. So the old man lost his head and ran at Curtis, and Curtis had to shoot him. Then the woman got mad when she seen that and ran at Curtis, and Curtis shot her. She's the one that died. The old man, he'll live, but he can't talk, nor think, nor even feed himself."
Nudger remembered more about the case now. Curtis Colt had been found guilty of first-degree murder, and because of a debate in the legislature over the merits of cyanide gas versus electricity, the state was breaking out the electric chair to make him its first killer executed by electricity in over a quarter of a century. Those of the back-to-basics school considered that progress.
"They're going to shoot Curtis full of electricity next Saturday, Mr. Nudger,"
Holly Ann said plaintively. She sounded like a little girl complaining that the grade on a report card wasn't fair. "I know," Nudger said, "but I don't see how I can help you, or, more specifically, help Curtis."
"You know what they say thoughts really are, Mr. Nudger?"
Holly Ann said, ignoring his professed helplessness. Her wide blue eyes were vague as she searched for words.
"Thoughts ain't really nothing but tiny electrical impulses in the brain. I read that somewheres or other. What I can't help wondering is, when they shoot all that electricity into Curtis, what's it going to be like to his thinking? How long will it seem like to him before he finally dies? Will there be a big burst of crazy thoughts along with the pain? I know it sounds loony, but I can't help laying awake nights thinking about that, and I feel I just got to do whatever's left to try and help Curtis."
There was a sort of checkout line tabloid logic in that, Nudger conceded. If thoughts were actually weak electrical impulses, then high-voltage electrical impulses could become exaggerated, horrible thoughts. Anyway, try to disprove it to Holly Ann. "They never did catch Curtis's buddy, the driver who sped away and left him in that service station, did they?" Nudger asked.
"Nope, Curtis never told who the driver was, neither, no matter how much he was threatened. Curtis is a stubborn man."
Nudger was getting the idea. "But you know who was driving the car."
"Yep, and he told me him and Curtis was miles away from that liquor store at the time it was robbed. When he seen the police chasing in on Curtis in that gas station where Curtis was buying cigarettes, he hit the accelerator and got out of the parking lot before they could catch him. The police didn't even get the car's license plate number."
Nudger rubbed a hand across his chin, watching Holly Ann swing her leg as if it were a shapely metronome. She was barefoot and wearing no nylon hose.
"The jury thought Curtis not only was at the liquor store, but that he shot the old man and woman in cold blood. That ain't true, though, not according to—"
She caught herself before uttering the man's name. "Curtis's friend," Nudger finished.
"That's right, and he ought to know,"
Holly Ann said righteously, as if that piece of information were the trump card and the argument was over. "None of this means anything unless the driver comes forward and substantiates that he was with Curtis somewhere other than at the liquor store when it was robbed." Holly Ann nodded and stopped swinging her leg.
"I know, but he won't. He can't, and that's where you come in."
"My profession might enjoy a reputation a notch lower than a dog napper," Nudger said, "but I don't hire out to do anything illegal."
"What I want you to do is legal,"
Holly Ann said in a hurt little voice. Nudger looked past her into the dollhouse kitchen and saw an empty gin bottle. He wondered if she might be slightly drunk.
"It's the eyewitness accounts that got Curtis convicted," she went on, "and those people are wrong. I want you to figure out some way to convince them it wasn't Curtis they saw that night."
4 people, 2 of them customers in the store, picked Curtis out of a police lineup.
"So what? Ain't eyewitnesses often mistaken?"
Nudger had to admit that they were, though he didn't see how they could be in this case. There were, after all, 4 of them, and yet Holly Ann was right. It was amazing how people could sometimes be so certain that the wrong man had committed a crime just 5 feet in front of them.